Hey, what's up, guys? We're back at the College World Series in Omaha. Man, I'll tell you what, it is good to be back. The first game of the day, we had NC State against Stanford. Last week against Texas Tech. Stanford's the one that got off to a hot start with Tim Towel and company. Today, NC State got off to a hot start, scoring 3 runs the first 2 innings. Aaron, NC State was outstanding last week against Arkansas. They were really good again today, led by your man, Johnny Barrels.
Johnny barrels. What does he do, Kendall? He finds barrels, and even the balls he doesn't barrel, he just kind of finds a way to find holes.
Yeah.
And that's what happened today. Of course, he barrels up that 2-run home run in the first inning, really kind of set the tone, and allowed NC State to kind of, jump on Brendan Beck right out of the gate. That's a big-time assignment there. You're facing a pitcher like that. And they did strike out some, but they took advantage of their opportunities. And really, it was just kind of more of the same from NC State. It's what we've been seeing from them for months now. They're so consistent. It's the same 9 guys in the lineup every night. Elliot Avent said it's 9 guys from 9 different states. That's what we got going here. And then, of course, it's Reed Johnson and Evan Justice on the mound. I mean, it's very simple. There's really only 14 guys on this team that are driving the boat, but everybody else is supporting them behind the scenes. But they're just kind of doing what they've been doing all along.
Yeah, and I thought what was really interesting is NC State gets off to a hot start. Stanford kind of makes a run back, and then all of a sudden NC State there in the top of the ninth gets a couple of insurance runs to kind of put things out of reach a little bit. That kind of shows you the mindset of this NC State club right now. I mean, they feel like they can win this thing.
Yeah, and they absolutely can win this thing, especially when you've got Evan Justice anchoring that bullpen. We talk about it all the time. All the champions have that guy at the back. Whether it's Josh Spores for Virginia or whether it's take your pick, Brandon Burke for Fresno State. There's always a guy, Matt Price. There's always a guy that you can lean on. And if you got a lead in the 6th inning or the 7th, you can go to that guy. You can shorten that game in a hurry.
Yeah, and today Justice, I think, threw just over 40 pitches. So looking ahead to Monday, the winner's bracket game against Vanderbilt, who we'll talk about in a second. They'll still have Chris Velden, who's very fresh because he didn't have to throw today. So NC State looking pretty good. In the nightcap, we knew this was going to be a really good game between Vanderbilt and Arizona. I think this game probably went a little differently than we thought, though. Kumar Rocker going in this game in the first inning gives up the 3 spot. He's not commanding his breaking ball very well. Arizona makes him pay. Then he goes on to retire 15 straight batters and kind of turns into vintage Kumar. Then you look at Chase Silstas for Arizona. He was a guy that we're kind of wondering, would he be consistent like he always is? He kind of settled in and had a pretty good outing. So both starters kind of settled in, and then both teams kind of traded blows.
Yeah, and I thought, the second half of this almost 5-hour game, Kendall, was pretty intense because, especially as we got into the 9th inning and beyond, there were constantly leadoff guys getting on base.
Yeah.
And then, for Arizona, I think three innings in a row, they had to perform kind of a high wire act. They stranded the bases loaded there. And then an inning later, they can't do it again. But really, I mean, I thought this was a very entertaining game. And the moves that, Arizona had been making, they were working until the end there. You play with the infield in instead of going for the double play with Jason Gonzalez up. I mean, I think a lot of coaches would have played it the exact same way, really. I'm not going to nitpick that move. I don't think that's ultimately the biggest part of the game, but it was certainly a – what do you think?
Yeah, well, and I'll say this about Arizona too. Like there were some moments in this game where, like defensively, you're kind of seeing why that was a concern coming into the World Series. Look at the play out in left field. I don't know if you kind of got the ball lost in the sun or the horizon or what. The left side of the infield, there were a couple of occasions where the guys almost collided because they weren't calling the other person off or they were in the wrong position or something like that. So I thought some of those defensive issues that we have talked about with Arizona kind of came back up tonight.
Well, and then that said, Vanderbilt made 3 errors today too. Yeah. So it really was not a clean baseball game, but it was fun to watch. Vanderbilt's bullpen came up huge. Ultimately, with the M&M boys, Maldonado and Murphy showing power stuff, and then McIlvain getting out of a jam there at the end. That was just enormous against that Arizona offense that is very explosive. And also, they had a runner at second base there to lead off. What was it, the top of the 12th, I think?
Yeah.
Couldn't get him in. I mean, that's just a huge job by the Vandy bullpen. Keeping those guys at bay.
Yeah, then Jason Gonzalez, 9-home hitter for Vandy, had a huge night. This is a guy that last year didn't even play in the spring. He opted out for the spring, had some things to take care of, didn't play. Comes back this year. He's done a really nice job in the lineup. Was hitting 290 out of the 9-hole for Vanderbilt coming into tonight. He's hit for power all season long. He hit for power tonight, gets that big RBI single in the bottom of the 12th to win the game. Jason Gonzalez had a really nice year for him, kind of quietly this season.
Yeah, it's a threat down there in the 9-hole. So that's a tough lineup to pitch to also. We talk a lot about Arizona's offense, but boy, I mean, Vanderbilt doesn't give any room to breathe either, Kendall. At the bottom of the order, there's still guys who can hurt you, and they showed it tonight.
Yeah, and I guess looking ahead to the winner's bracket game now, Vanderbilt, one of the big storylines kind of coming out of this game is the fact they did have to use Luke Murphy and Nick Maldonado 40-plus pitches. We'll kind of see how Tim Corbin kind of works that bullpen out for Monday. And as we mentioned earlier, Chris Villeman didn't throw for NC State. So you have to feel like NC State feels pretty good about its bullpen situation, but they're also going to have to get hits off of Jack Leiter, so that's going to be interesting.
That's certainly true. Justice, by the way, will be fine to go, with a day of rest in between. I know.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's going to be all for us here at TD Ameritrade Park. I can tell you again, we're glad to be back. NC State, Vanderbilt both had big nights. Arizona, Stanford will play on Monday to keep their season alive. So it should be a lot of fun. That's all we've got from here, guys. Have a good night.